Hello and welcome to Post Game Theory. I'm your host, Sam Vecenie. Today, we're going to break down a light night of action across the NBA. That is going to include the Los Angeles Lakers losing to the Phoenix Suns by about 27 points in the end. A fun, chaotic Houston Rockets, Minnesota Timberwolves game. Then we're going to go back in time. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened over the last couple of days in the NBA, including debut from Kristaps Porzingis and a return from Morant. But first, let's hit the music.
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Way downtown. Bang! Bang! What is this going to be? Wow! Are you kidding me?
Hello and welcome to the Game Theory Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Vecenie. But if you watch the tape, what you will see completely orchestrated this game. Hello, I hope you're all having a beautiful Tuesday night in the United States, Wednesday over here in Australia. It's time for some post-game theory. I'm your host, Sam Vecenie, and we're here. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened across the NBA tonight as well as last night. And I think where I want to start is just by going through the games that occurred first and foremost and dive into some of the games that we're not actually going to talk about in depth. The Chicago Bulls beat the Washington Wizards 127-108. Did get a nice Alex Sarr game, but not much else to really recommend in that one. The little bit I saw was not particularly fun to watch, unfortunately. The Bucks beat the Heat 106-103. I was kind of thinking that I would do a little bit more of a deep dive into this one because I haven't talked a lot about the Heat this year. It just kind of ended up being a funky game where Damian Lillard went on these two massive runs. I actually did watch a decent amount of this. Lillard went on like an 11-0 run early in the first quarter where he had like 8 points of his own off of 2 threes and then like a drive to the rim, and then had a third three that he created off of an assist. Miami just wasn't super attached, it felt like, in this game defensively until maybe midway through the third quarter. Lillard went on like a huge run midway through the second again. And then in the third, Lillard hit a three, AJ Green hit a three, Lillard hit a three to get it up to 22. And then Miami just kind of chipped back a little bit and had a good time trying to get this game back close, which was interesting at the very least, but it wasn't quite what I was looking for in terms of breaking it down. Giannis did not play in this game either. This was largely the Damian Lillard show, and Lillard was fantastic over the course of the entirety of the game. Okay. Third game tonight, Spurs-Jazz. The Spurs beat the Jazz 128-115. This was a road win for the Spurs. They're now 2-5 on the road. They have really struggled to rack wins on the road this season, even though it was against the Jazz. This is a good sign and a good outcome for the San Antonio Spurs. I watched a little bit of this game too. Victor ends up with 34 points. Steph Castle had like 20 in the first 3 quarters. I know that. And I don't know that there's a ton to really take away from this outside of Victor just being a total stud. He's the reason that they won this game. His ability to completely control and dominate everything on the interior, it felt like it just played huge dividends for the San Antonio Spurs against this team that is a total mess in the Utah Jazz that are now 4-13. And honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that they have been able to rack 4 wins to this point. The first game I want to talk about, though, that happened tonight is actually the late game, the last game that occurred over the course of the evening. The Phoenix Suns against the Los Angeles Lakers. They played 2 really competitive quarters. It was a 62-60 game going in to halftime. It was competitive for the first like 3-ish minutes of the third quarter, and then the Suns just completely put their foot on the gas and dominated. And part of this was they got hot shooting. Part of it was that Devin Booker really took over here in this later portion of the game. You got to see a lot of different kind of things happen here. And look, we love what the Phoenix Suns can do. Kevin Durant returned in this game. Kevin Durant was really good in the first half, just didn't have to go crazy in the second half. It was largely everybody else around him that was able to really handle business. And Kevin Durant goes for 23 points, 6 rebounds, only has to play 30 minutes for a team that it feels like really needs him to play quite a few minutes oftentimes. But I think what I want to talk about here is actually just the Lakers defense. It just was not very good tonight, especially in that third quarter run, but even over the course of the entirety of the game. And I felt like in that third quarter run, all of the Lakers' holes defensively kind of came to bear in a way that was concerning. So I want to talk about it. We're just going to break down a little bit of tape, just 4 plays that I think kind of encapsulate the problems that have occurred with the Lakers on defense so far this season. The Lakers overall defensive efficiency so far this year is actually 26th in the NBA. They have a 117.9 defensive rating so far. And that's a real problem. Obviously, they're going to have to improve the defense if they want to really, take that next step into the contention window. By the way, if you want to hear about contention windows and contenders across the league, I was on Jason Timpf's show earlier. That will go up tomorrow. We're going to break down contender tiers, contender rankings, everything like that across the league. So keep an eye on that over on the Hoops Tonight channel. We talked a lot about the Lakers, and one thing that Jason brought up was just generally their lack of team speed. And the second thing that he brought up was their transition defense. The transition defense we've known has been really bad. We'll absolutely talk about that here momentarily. But I think there are more issues than just the transition defense in general. And I just pulled 4 clips from this fourth quarter run, right? Or the third quarter run. I'm sorry. I didn't want to go crazy here. I think that these 3 or 4 clips encapsulate kind of all of the issues that you see the Lakers have defensively. So just to start, you're going to see a screen come up. It's basically a stack pick and roll. In fact, it's not just basically a stack pick and roll. It is a stack pick and roll. For people who don't know what a stack pick and roll is, I'm happy to kind of talk through it. So screen here, back screen here. Booker can exit out that way, can exit high, can exit this way. Whatever way he wants to roll, he has that ability. And Kevin Durant will come around the screen. So teams have different ways of defending this. You'll see, I'll talk about why the Lakers were bad in this possession, right? Sometimes teams will say, okay, if the guard is coming up, let's do a guard to guard switch, right? You'll have Dalton connect, just switch on to Kevin Durant. You'll have Austin Reeves take Devin Booker, and the big will stay attached here to Yusuf Nurkic. You can play in drop with the second defender here. So that would be Dalton Connect being responsible for drop coverage. You can just have Austin Reeves fight around and try and get all the way back in that circumstance. There are a lot of ways to do this. What the Lakers decide to do here, as you'll see, is they want to play drop. How do we know that they want to play drop? Dalton Connect, it looks like, has no idea that this is a stack pick and roll. He is looking this way. AD is literally pointing to him saying, hey, you got to get over. You got to get over. They're playing drop here because Austin has fought over the screen. And this is just a total blown coverage from Dalton Connect. So Connect eventually looks over and he's like, oh shit, I've made a mistake. You can see AD like hands out at his sides like, hey, like, what are you doing here? What's going on? The communication, Dalton Connect's been an issue defensively this year in general. But what I will say is that their communication by and large has not been great. Really, what you're hoping for here is for Dalton Connect to call out from behind, hey, screen behind for AD. AD can call out, hey, we want to cover this a different way. Talking back and forth. It seems like there was something that was broken here. there's just no reason for Dalton Knecht to be looking this way at this point when Kevin Durant is coming around the screen this way. Easy bucket, miscommunication. Here, transition defense. I wanted to talk about the transition defense that has been a substantial issue throughout the course of the season. This one's going to be LeBron. LeBron ends up just kind of backpedaling softly here, right? He's just kind of going slow. No worries. Here, he's looking at Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones is receiving a pass right now that is coming from, I think, Devin Booker. That makes LeBron see that Royce O'Neal is behind him. The issue here is that these two are in no way, it seems like, communicating. Again, multiple ways you can handle this, right? D'Angelo Russell can handle the ball. LeBron can shoot around. Given that they're still over half court, D'Angelo Russell can sprint back. LeBron can take the ball. There are multiple ways. The problem is there's just no communication. Nothing here. And it's a wide open three for Royce O'Neal. Can't happen. So here, this one is just D'Angelo Russell getting beat, right? One issue for the Lakers this year has been a lack of athleticism on the perimeter to be able to cover ground defensively and to be able to stop dribble penetration. I have thought D'Angelo Russell has been quite poor in general throughout the year. Tonight was no different, I didn't think. So here, he just gets beat. To me, this is probably an overhelp, given that AD is right here, Christie is here. I don't think there's really a reason for Rui to be jumping into the corner or from the corner here to get all the way up to the elbow. I'll hear out. Like if the Lakers have like a different principle there where they want him to help so that AD stays around the corner. Maybe you have AD shoot out to the corner then, and you have this guy here to be able to guard 1-on-2. Typically you don't want to guard 1-on-2 around the rim though. And typically you want to keep your big around the basket in general. To me, this is in all likelihood a significant overhelp from Rui, but the overhelp happens because D'Angelo Russell just gets beat off the bounce here. Can't get beat off the bounce. Can't get beat off the bounce. You can say, oh, that's Devin Booker. That's top 15 team in the league, top 15 player in the league. You're going to play those guys in the playoffs. You have to stay in front of them. Sorry, guys. That's the reality. And then finally, 6 seconds left here. Russell just gets beat backdoor. They actually do a fairly decent job containing this. They call out the switch here. Maybe it's Peel. Maybe they're switching everything. I'm not in the huddle. I don't know. Christie does a decent job containing, but I don't really blame Dalton Knecht for being available here and help just in case. Now, I think Dalton has to be a little bit more aware, has to probably have his arms out a little bit earlier here to be able to cut off that pass to Grayson Allen. I understand why D'Angelo Russell is thinking, hey, I might have to help the helper here if Dalton commits all the way over. Because if Knecht commits here and like really truly helps all the way over, Russell has to help down onto Grayson Allen. But Knecht never really does that. So for him to decide, I'm just going to freewheel this and fake double here, even with 3 seconds left, it just opens up a wide open backdoor cut for Tyus Jones. Can't happen. Just can't happen. I'm sorry. It just can't happen. So we can talk about the fact that the Suns, shot 1,000,000,000% from three. We can talk about the fact that the Suns, made some contested shots with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, whatever you want to talk about, Fair enough. End of the day, the Lakers have defensive breakdowns that they need to fix. I don't think that's being too harsh. I don't think that that's being particularly negative. The Lakers have to fix some things defensively in order for them to have success on the biggest scale and on the biggest stages in the playoffs, which ultimately is where I think they are trying to go. Okay. Before we get to the Houston Rockets against the Minnesota Timberwolves, we do just want to shout out our good friends over at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. We love PrizePicks here at Game Theory because of how easy they make it to get real money sports action. When you are sitting down this week on Thursday and you have football on, you are going to want to have some action on those games. The easiest way is with PrizePicks. You just pick more or less than the yardage totals that somebody like Justin Jefferson or Lamar Jackson or whoever you're watching. Say it's the Lions. Say it's the Cowboys. Say you're just selling Cooper Rush. Say that you're buying what Jared Goff is putting up. You just pick over or under. You pick more or less. And you're going to make those picks in less than 60 seconds or less and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on PrizePicks. Download the app today and use the code Game Theory to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today and use the code Game Theory to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. The second folks we want to shout out today are at Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you do not need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Now the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn a very liberal 4.5% APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of the high net worth for any net worth for just $5 per month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply for product-specific disclosures. Visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. Okay, next game we want to talk about tonight. We want to get to the Houston Rockets. This was, in every way, shape, and form, a completely weird, chaotic basketball game where Houston, it felt like, was in control for a majority of the first three quarters, and then this thing got just completely out of control for them in some respect. Late in the third quarter, Minnesota goes on a nice little run. They close the gap. This becomes a tight game heading into the fourth quarter. Minnesota ends up taking a 5-point lead, I believe, late, and then the offense just completely dries up. I believe that Minnesota did not score a point in the final, looking here, 3 minutes of regulation. And it's a lot of what we've talked about with Minnesota throughout the course of the year. Anthony Edwards needs to improve as a decision maker. That's kind of the reality of where this is for him right now. I feel like teams are really selling out to try and stop his drives and forcing him to pass, force him to make the reads out to Julius Randle, force him to hit Rudy Gobert in the dump off, to hit whoever the fourth and fifth options are. Houston, for large swaths of this game, kind of just didn't guard Jaden McDaniels and decided, hey, if Ant drives, help off. Let's go. That was a problem tonight for Minnesota. Anthony Edwards ends up going in this game for 29 points, but he did so on 8 for 22 from the field and only had 1 assist versus 3 turnovers. The scouting report played perfectly to what the Houston Rockets wanted to do. I kind of think of this as a scouting win for the Houston Rockets as much as anything. They're now 13-6. And there are a lot of places we could talk about here. Fred VanVleet, he started just scalding hot in the first half, was really, really good. Ends up going for 27 points. Alperen Şengün wasn't super efficient around the rim again. That is becoming a recurring theme of his season, unfortunately. Really needs to come through on that at some point. But he goes for 22, 10, and 11. A beautiful triple-double. I thought his passing tonight was really, really on point. Dillon Brooks had one of his best games of the year. And if you listen to the show that Bryce and I did a couple days ago, talking about league pass rankings, one of the things I brought up is that Dillon Brooks has been absolutely one of the best role players in the NBA this season. He is everywhere defensively. He is physical. He kind of embodies what this team is trying to do. And he's made about 40% of his threes. He has been enormous this season. Jalen Green did not have a particularly good game. He came into this game sick, I believe. I think Dillon Brooks also might have come into this game sick based on reporting from Jonathan Fagan. Don't want to overreact too much to Jalen Green. He ends up as 9 points on 9 shots, -8, didn't play a ton, only 23 minutes in a game that went to overtime. Whatever. It's fine. The guy I want to talk about is Jabari Smith, actually. I'll say Amen Thompson too. Amen was nuclear defensively in this game. Was literally everywhere. It was absolutely insane. He was a monster. He is the guy that really swung this for them in the third quarter. Huge, and got them back on track. Huge game for Amen Thompson tonight. But I do want to talk about Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith started this season very poorly and made me wonder if he was going to kind of hang on to that starting spot with how Tari Eason has come on. And I still think Tari Eason is a better player in general than Jabari Smith. He's just more impactful across multiple swaths of the game. Defensively, his rebounding, his effort, he's kind of everywhere. But coming into this game, Jabari Smith over his last 6 games is a little bit up and down, right? And he's going to be up and down because his role fluctuates every single night. He's averaging about 14.5 points, shooting about 40% from 3 and about 50% from the field. He's basically back to the level that we saw last year, as opposed to the one we saw early this season where he just couldn't hit the ocean from this like beach line, basically, with the basketball. I also really liked what he did defensively in this game. And I want to call out just one thing here as we start kind of going through the tape. This is first possession of the game. 11:46 on the clock. We're going to get out in transition. And I love that he just fires this. He does it with confidence. He makes it. The ball goes in. And I think that this is what keyed his night. When I watch Jabari Smith, I feel like he is a guy that plays off of confidence in some level. Like he's a guy that, last year, for instance, went to All-Star Weekend, is like, went to like the media section or whatever and asked like Jason Tatum, like, how do you, figure out when you're going through tough times? Like, how do you stop when you're being considered a bust, right? Something along those lines. And I think for him, it really is just a confidence question. When he has games where he just goes out there and plays, he's really solid and useful. Early in the season, before this little run here of his last 7 or so games, that was a struggle. He was not playing well. But when he steps up and is just like, fuck it, I'm shooting tonight. I'm going to take my spots when I'm open. I'm not going to overthink this. I feel like that's when he plays well. And it was so good tonight just to see that first one go. And I felt like it keyed a lot of what happened tonight. This is literally the next possession down the court. He's always pretty engaged on defense. Sometimes the processing is a little bit slow, especially on the back line. But look at this here. He's on Jaden McDaniels. He sees Rudy Gobert roll into the basket. He's got Şengün trying to recover. He's in a good distance here between Rudy and Jaden McDaniels to be able to close out, be able to tag. Drive occurs. Deflection from Şengün. I thought Şengün's hands were good tonight. And then he dives on the court and goes to get the ball, right? Look at that. Look at that effort. Jaden McDaniels was right here. And he slides all over the court to go get this ball, gets the ball, wins the 50-50 contest, gets it up to Fred VanVleet, and we're rolling. I felt like those two moments tonight really got him going in the kind of way where you can see him becoming like a really impactful player on winning. He hasn't been that yet this year. But over the last 7 games, he basically has been pretty okay. He's had a couple of stinkers in that run, but it's been like 5 out of 7 here where he's been quite good. So here they run him off of a curl. Stops, pops. Do you have a guy that's over 6'10" where you can run down screens into a curl action? He's able to come tightly off the curl. I love the way he comes off of this curl, just very, very tight to Şengün's body. He makes it so Şengün is really going to be able to make contact here. He's always had good elevation into that mid-range jumper. Look at that. He's up over the top of Rudy Gobert contesting here. And he drills it. Another confidence booster throughout the game, right? This is just a quick one here. Super simple, right? Ball screen for Şengün. Jalen Green's going to come off of it. Şengün's going to short roll into this area somewhere. Jabari and Fred VanVleet here do an exchange where Fred's going to come up. Jabari's going to sit in the corner. And now watch Şengün's eyes coming off of this play. He's just manipulating these two defenders, trying to figure out, okay, someone has to come to me at the ball. Where am I going to go? Okay, let's go to the corner first because this is the longest closeout. Like we've got relatively short closeout here. We've got a long closeout here. Now that both guys have come to the ball. I love that Jabari feels Jaden just coming at him. And he's like, I'm not even going to go. I'm just going to get this ball quickly up the wing, reverse it. Fred VanVleet misses, but that's good offense. That's good decision-making. That's quick processing. That's what we're looking for. This one, I think, is actually like a pretty good contest here. So Anthony Edwards here, going to come down the court. This time, Jabari picks up Julius Randle in transition. Roll happens. Dylan Brooks is here. Jabari is available. Sinks down. Euro step around. This is just Anthony Edwards being disgusting on some level. I mean, just look at his body control here and his explosiveness, his stride length, balance, all of it. Euros. But honestly, that's a good contest. He made this very difficult for Anthony Edwards. He avoided the seal, gets up high. This is good. Another good contest. And the reason I pointed that out is because he is not somebody that's consistently available as a rim protector on the weak side. But you saw that one. And here is Jabari here on Jaden McDaniels again. Another ball screen. Roll. Look at that. Look at that rotation. So we get the ball screen. The Rockets put 2 on the ball. Again, they were trying to rush Anthony Edwards the whole night. That was the goal. They're able to find Rudy here. And just look at how available Jabari is from the jump. He is already 2 feet in the lane. Rudy's going to try and turn, and Jabari just catches him. Look at this. This is the most important play that Jabari Smith made tonight, in my opinion. This weak side block. He has not consistently always done this throughout his career. There's a reason that he's averaging like half of a block per game this year, right? This is the difference maker in Jabari Smith's game. Can he consistently be that weak side rim protector when they put 2 on the ball with Şengün, when they decide to do different stuff? It is a critical part of Jabari's development. Blocks it. Does a good job blocking out there on Rudy. Rudy's a tough offensive rebounder. Here, Jabari's weak side corner again. Just available briefly there to help with Tari. Now we get a switch. He just rides Dante DiVincenzo to the baseline. Helps on the contest. This is perfect. This is exactly what you're hoping for if you're the Rockets. So here, roll. It's possible that Rudy is going to seal Tari Eason. So he comes off a little bit of, is that Nikhil or Jaden? I can't tell. In the corner. It's Nikhil. They decide to switch this action, and Jabari just forces baseline. That's the best you can do. This is a 6'10" to 6'11" dude forcing this guard who can drive in a straight line really, really well baseline. And then the help rakes down, bothers Naz Reid. That's it. That's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Here, I like the way he gets up over this screen, fights through it, but this is also where the issue will come in for him. He's not quite as flexible through his hips as you want him to be. He kind of just has to turn here. Instead of just like dropping his hips and trying to stay in front, trying to stay on Dante's hip himself here. He kind of ends up just having to turn and run. This is the difference between him and somebody like a Bam Adebayo or someone like that. Or even like a young Mikal Bridges could do this really well. He's struggled with it this year, and it's been a huge difference maker in him being a pretty rough defender to this point. I would love to see Jabari be able to take that next step and kind of try to open up that flexibility in his hips. If he could really switch, he would be a huge, huge piece for the Houston Rockets moving forward, just in terms of helping winning basketball. And, you know, most Neff in the YouTube comments brings up he's got to anticipate the screen better here. Couldn't agree more. Too much distance. Too much distance here between Dante and Jabari on the screen. Couldn't agree more. And then he's trying to fight over the top. You do have to get over the top because Dante is a shooter. By and large, it's one of the few negative plays that I felt like he had tonight. So here, again, like how many times do you see Jabari just stop and pop from that wing that early in the shot clock? You don't always want to see it, but if he's feeling confident, I love it. So he's seeing here that, you know, Julius Randle. I feel like we bring up Randle often on this channel, unfortunately, for being flat-footed on defense. Quick reversal here. Ball up. Drills the three. Look at this. Fighting, scratching, good defense, great on-ball defense, forces the turnover here against Randle, right? I love this. Get his arms on him. Randle's going to try and be physical with you. No worries there. Be physical back. Does a great job forcing the turnover. Nice little relocation lift. Drills the three. Now he's just feeling it, right? So what do we see? Horns action, corners, high set horns here, which I really like. They decide to switch it. Now they're in drop. And when you're in drop, really what you have right now while Ant is in recovery is you have three defenders here, or three offensive players. Don't know why my pen stopped working. For two defenders. Randle has to be somewhat responsible for both of these two. Naz Reid has to be somewhat responsible for both of these two. So what does Jabari do? Simple decision here. Relocate up. Why? Because this distance is shorter than that distance in terms of a closeout. So you're creating potential open opportunities by doing so. And he drills the three with that quick little relocation. Just simple, smart movement. Nothing crazy. Here, now we're out in transition, running the court. Again, I think that we can't really stop and emphasize enough that Jabari Smith is 6'10", 6'11". He's a big dude. There are not a crazy number of bigs who are that big. He's not really a big, but he is someone who plays both the 4 and the 5 who can start here and beat all of these players down the court and legitimately just be the second guy down the court here and be able to finish. It's really good. This is excellent. So here, Jabari, 2 on the ball again, 1-2. They're pseudo peel switching this realistically, where Dillon Brooks is going to be responsible for Naz Reid, but he's still helping here. Jabari is forcing him into the help where he knows he has a body here with Dillon. Does a great job once Ant picks up the ball and walls him up, gets in front of him, uses that length. They end up missing this one. Big part of why they end up missing that play. This is one of the better games defensively I've seen Jabari Smith play. So here you've got him helping all the way into the paint here. And now he's just going to confuse this space, right? He's trying to figure out what's going on here with Jaden McDaniels. Dante ends up throwing this terrible pass. That was one of the last times we saw Dante on the court. He might have played 4 more minutes in this game. Was not many. It was not many. Now Jabari going to come up, take this little dribble handoff. I mean, this is stuff that he can do, right? Again, it is not super easy to find bigs who can run these kind of actions with Alper and Şengün, where we're into just a quick little Chicago zoom action where you're going to have a down screen into a dribble handoff. He's stiff. The movement's a little stiff. That's absolutely true. But he's mobile for a big dude to where you can actually take and make these shots off of movement. And again, you see the high release point here. This is the Jabari Smith that I thought we were getting at some point when he got drafted. I saw him as like a real potential, like number 3, number 2 guy, but a guy that would really help winning. This guy that we saw tonight is basically what I saw when I watched him at Auburn. And what I was hoping for when he would hit the NBA and would continue to grow. Here, he gets around the screen quickly, right? So I like how he sees the screen, anticipates it early, gets this foot here up over the top of Rudy's foot, gets attached, helps to force the miss. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. Here he's low. He's getting to the point where he's lowish. And now we're going to help for another block. Active, engaged, capable, communicating very clearly. Bumps Gobert as he comes back here before Şengün reattaches himself, gets himself into position here to be able to get back onto McDaniels just in case. But again, they didn't guard him a ton in this game. And I love this. Great block. Fantastic block. And now, again, Julius Randle. I like how he's trying to body him up. He's trying to be physical, cuts off the drive. Went a little too far. Went just a little too far, guys. So here, Randle again. I just want to call out that he's just being physical. Like, look at him. Just put these like forearms right into Randle. Randle is a physical dude. You can get away with being physical to Julius Randle for the most part. You're not really going to get called for it all that often because Randle's giving it right back to you. For a dude who's 21 years old to be doing this, I think is a pretty good sign, honestly. Now, he's been just too inconsistent throughout the course of his career. That's a great block from Şengün, by the way, after the offensive rebound. But I think we often don't quite recognize how young Jabari Smith really is. Like Brandon Miller, for instance, with the Charlotte Hornets, is 22 years old right now. Jabari Smith is still 21. He's a young dude. It's okay if it takes him some time. This one, I put this one on here because these are plays where Rudy can kill guys, right? They're trying to get the tip back here. Jabari does an amazing job. Look at his arms, trying to get Rudy onto his back, making sure that Rudy can't go get that rebound. Rudy's one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. Does a great job making it so he can't get that little putback at the end. He did enough. He didn't have to get the rebound. He just had to do enough. Again, now we get a switch out onto Ant. 2 on the ball. Now we're just blitzing. Blitzing, forcing turnovers. Again, Ant did not have his best day as a passer. But I think a big reason why he didn't have his best day as a passer is because Houston's defense forced him into really, really difficult positions like this. Here, now we're going to run again. We're going to get out in transition. Look at him sprint. He sees that lane there. They don't have numbers here. They especially would not have numbers here if he doesn't decide, okay, I'm just going to beat Rudy and Jaden down the court. He runs hard here. Jaden McDaniels is an athlete, guys. He is fast. And Jabari just beats him. This should be a 3-on-3. But because Jabari fights to get in front, it's not. He creates the easy bucket that they take the lead on, and that was the one where they took the lead forever in this game. And then finally, another great on-ball possession there from Jabari. Navigates the screen, gets back in front. Hands under Randall. You're going to get called for that sometimes, so be careful a little bit. But again, gets the help from Dylan, does enough. Really, really good. And now, 13 seconds left. Cup game. So you got to try and get as many points as humanly possible. Jabari goes up, finishes. I'm glad he got the last bucket in this one. This was one of the better games I have seen Jabari Smith play over all swaths of basketball. I thought he did really well tonight. Defensively, I thought that his offensive impact, because he made shots in part, was enormous. He was huge for the Houston Rockets tonight, and I thought he deserved some flowers. That's the main thing. I really just thought that over his last 7 games, he's been impactful. He's been useful. He's been really, really generally worth citing as somebody who might be coming through a little bit here for a team that's winning games. Worst case scenario here, he's a starter on a team that's 13-6 right now. Hasn't been great. Has probably been their worst starter, if we're being completely honest about it. But he's starting to come on right now. He's starting to figure it out. And I hope he does. He seems like a dude from everybody I've talked to around the league, everyone I've talked to around Houston, that like really gives a shit about basketball and really wants to be good. I hope it happens for him. I really do. He's had a tough start to his career, had a tough rookie year. I thought was pretty okay last year for a 20-year-old playing in the NBA. This year's been a rough start, but it seems like he's turning it around. And I'm excited to highlight it. Okay. Time to shout out our good friends over at Duer. The best feeling is when clothes fit good and look good. When you can comfortably wear them all day long. And that is exactly how I feel about my Duer jeans. These jeans are so incredibly comfortable. I find myself reaching for them anytime I have to leave the house. They are truly the most comfortable jeans I think I've ever owned. I love that they are comfortable because of the stretch technology that Duer uses. I can wear them for a work day. I can wear them to go out to dinner with my wife. They're relaxed, they're lightweight, they're stylish, they're fantastic. Duer has styles that can be worn all year round. Their stretch performance denim and lifestyle apparel is built for doing, like the fireside denim and all-weather denim, perfect for the colder winter months to keep you warm without overheating. There's something for everyone on every occasion. Plus, Duer is committed to sustainability. They use recycled materials and plant-based fibers whenever possible for natural breathability, softness, and moisture absorption. These are clothes we can all feel comfortable about purchasing. You guys know I love my Duers, and now it's time for you to get your own because Duer's Black Friday sale is here now. They've got up to 50% off these incredibly comfortable pants. This is the best time of year to upgrade your wardrobe before the new year and to find some amazing holiday gifts. Duer sale runs through December 2nd, but don't wait. These items will sell out fast. Go to shopduer.com/gametheory to get these great deals before they're gone. That is shopduer.com/gametheory. Shopduer/gametheory. Final ad for the day. Mando It's that magic time of year. Football season is in full swing and the NBA season has officially tipped off. So whether you're tailgating for Sunday or Thursdays, big game, or cheering courtside for the beginning of the new NBA season, you're going to need a game day essential, Mando whole body deodorant. Mando is a key part of traveling to games because let's face it, when you're stressing over a last second shot or a nail biting third down, you're going to sweat. Mando has got me covered with its powerful 72-hour odor control, safe to use all over. And yes, that means from your pits to your feet and every spot in between. And here's the play. New customers are going to get $5 off that starter pack with code GAMETHEORY at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Perfect for gearing up for the season or getting a last-minute stocking stuffer. So don't let body odor keep you on the sidelines. Use that code GAMETHEORY at shopmando.com for $5 off and tell them that we sent you. Okay. Just a few quick things that occurred last night. Let's start with Ja Morant's return because that felt like, I don't know if it was the most important thing in terms of the title picture, but he was certainly the best player to get back last night. Ja Morant played like 24 minutes in this game for Memphis. He went for 22 and 11. He was utterly dominant from every single second that he was on the court in this game. He was an absolute monster, it felt like to me. Everywhere across the court, in transition, on offense, whatever they needed, he completely dominated the Portland Trail Blazers. To the point where it made me question how serious of a contender Memphis is if Ja Morant can stay healthy. Now, he ended up with a left knee contusion somehow in this game, so he's going to miss tomorrow's game now as well. But if he can stay healthy, he plays a high wire basketball game. I don't know how conducive it is for him to stay healthy long term. But if he can stay healthy, I mean, my goodness, this dude is something special. And we got to see it first game back last night against Portland, literally first possession of the game. Just like the simple things with Ja Morant, right? It doesn't even have to be crazy. I put this on here because what in the fuck is Portland doing coming out in a 2-3 zone? You are in a 2-3 zone against a team with Jalen Wells and Desmond Bane at the top here, and your 2-3 zone is clearly putting two on the ball with Ja Morant, basically. So now you're in a 4-on-3 situation here, no matter what you do. When you already have Toumani Camara, who is a really good defender. Nothing here makes sense to me about this. And as you will see, how you know this is a 2-3 zone is that Rob Williams in the middle there is calling things out. I was speechless. I was kind of flabbergasted. I have no idea what the plan was there. I mean, this is where we just get to truly see Ja Morant's special leaping ability, right? I kind of just love this set. I wonder how much of this was just Ja Morant freewheeling. Because look, like it's very easy for Ja to come up and get this ball. Does he just feel this here? That he has the leverage on Camara? I wonder. Like as soon as he does this, does he just reject it and go? I would love to talk to John and find out. Is this just a active play here? I mean, this dude has a fucking trampoline in his feet. I mean, what are we doing here? This ball is above the rim already. It seems like he barely jumped. And then look at the hang time. He's able to adjust in midair. There's just stuff that he does that few other players can do. He's one of the 5 best passers in the league, and he's probably the best athlete in the league. This is fun because he's just literally playing with Shaedon Sharpe here. So drive here to get past Toumani Camara. Again, good defender. Tumani is a good defender, and Ja has no problem getting past here. Stops. You've got Shaden up here helping. He's got Desmond Bane open. Tumani gets back. He like moves his eyes this way briefly. Shaden goes out that way. And then he just throws that beautiful little scoop pass around him. Underneath Kamara's arms. I think that Ja Morant finds, other than Jokic, let's say among guards at least, right? I think Ja Morant finds more creative angles to pass than any guard in the league. Just an incredibly fun player. So here, I mean, now we've got Shaden Sharp on him, and Shaden, all due respect, just has zero chance here. Just can't guard him. He can't guard him. So this starts with Ja being able to get in front of him, beat him off the dribble, and then he's able to use him here to keep him on his hip and then spring and go and get this ball out to Desmond Bane. I mean, again, the angles that he's able to execute passes from. How do you know that you can get enough on this ball to where Kamara can't just jump this pass and get there? This is insane. And then he already knows where everybody is. I would guess that when he catches this ball, he's literally just counting bodies here. He sees 4 here on this side of the court for only 3 Grizzlies. So he knows that if he reverses this immediately, that's how he can just do this without looking over to the other side. He's just counting Blazers bodies at that point and drills the shot. Again, Kamara does a pretty good job that time staying in front at least, which is good, but then he gives up baseline. I mean, it's the creativity that just makes him so special. Stops here early. I think most guys probably would try and just go up with this inside hand finish. But he stops here to get the contact, go up, finish. Ball goes in. Jaren dances. Now we've got Ja off the ball. Just kind of lifting. This has always been the shot with Ja, right? I don't really love the shot mechanics. You can see that like the elbow's kind of out a little bit. Doesn't feel like it's totally aligned with the rim. If he can become a real shooter, I mean, he's one of the 5 best players in the league, like no questions asked. But teams have always been able to play off of him in ball screens. Makes this one. He goes through games where he drills them. Like he has 5, 6, 7 3-point games. Like it happens, but it's got to be consistent. And what are we going to do here? Yeah, we're just going to take flight is what we're going to do. So we're stopping right there, like right about the semicircle beneath the foul line. Good luck, guys. That dude has trampolines in his feet. I wish you all the best in your attempts to stop him. It's the ability to keep the dribble alive as well. I keep pointing out like 5 different things that make Ja Morant special, but it's the combination of all of it, right? This is just a simple ball screen. He keeps the dribble alive, which means he's just relentlessly attacking. This is a left-hand dribble, by the way. He goes up. He forces both Williams and Simons here to go up with him. And he knows he's got Brandon Clark just leaking to the basket. Now, yeah, I would like to see Jeremy Grant here. But he's reading that Jeremy Grant isn't there. It's perfect. Switch. I mean, we're just getting to the point now where we're just getting stupid with things, right? So misses the shot. Denny leaks out. Ja's able to cut and get downhill. Feels Rob Williams come up in help. He's looking out first. Looks this way to Jaren here. I mean, I feel like Luke Kennard is wide open. Instead, he just decides, I'm going to do a look away behind the back. Denny is still looking this way. Jeremy Grant is still looking at Ja. Literally everybody vacates the rim area. They don't know where the ball is. Jeremy Grant's out here. Simons is going this way. Denny is literally going this way. Shaden goes this way. They don't know where the ball is. He has hidden the ball from them to hit this behind the back pass. That is a ridiculous, ridiculous pass. I mean, and then we're just like being more athletic than everybody. We're just letting Ja Morant, 6'2", high point the basketball over Shaden Sharp and Jeremy Grant. Look, wasn't the most engaged Blazers defender night, I didn't think. Then he jumps into Shaden. Now we've just got a flex. Literally just flexing on him. Now we're having fun. Another behind the back. It was just literally like razzle dazzle after every single thing here. I love the run. So here, to me, Shaden Sharp just has to be more aggressive running back in transition. We've talked about Shaden Sharp's defense. It's been an issue this year. He needs to just get more engaged defensively at the end of the day. I mean, he's just jogging. Like he's literally just jogging here. And that creates the 1-on-2 here for Morant to be able to hit Jake LaRavia for the easy bucket. Final seconds of this one here in the second. Drills the three right in Shaden Sharp's eyes. I like this stuff where we're getting guard to guard screen actions. Just a little like kind of hesitation screen. I wouldn't even call it really a ghost. But then he goes to the rim, opens up, gets the ball out to Desmond Bane. I love just the quick attack and then ball back out here to Ja Morant. Put the pressure on Sharp again to make the closeout. Closes out short. Too easy. And then we're kind of down to the last few possessions here. I mean, Clark, great play there. Literally was just a walking highlight machine all night. By the way, I want to call this out. Like, unbelievable breakup of this dribble handoff here from Brandon Clark. A little bit laissez-faire, maybe, from Toumani Camara. Just swats down on it. Gets down on the floor, tips it out to Morant. Behind the back. Nope. No, that's just a dribble. Perfect. Out to Jalen Wells. Draws the defenders. Waits for the trailer to come and be the third man here. Blazers made it a little too easy for them throughout the night. It felt like this is a good get right game for Ja Morant. I love that Simons sets up here like he's going to take this charge. And I love this. Shaden, you know, I've said, hey, let's get engaged. Let's be available. Well, Josh just going to back cut him because he's a little too high. Then he makes this ill-advised reach, which, oh boy, doesn't really work. Then we get the cut. Ja's able to stop before the charge. Then he's just going to backspin on Simons. Gets the foul call. Yeah. And then last one here. First play of the fourth quarter. Just sets it up beautifully. Guys who can just beat opposing players off the dribble like this are worth their weight in gold. They're absolutely worth their weight in gold. What he's seeing here is, okay, if Jeremy Grant comes to help here, I've got this lob in all likelihood. If not, I can just shoot the ball out here to the wing. Drills it. Cash. Look, if Ja Morant plays like this, Memphis is a real contender to win a playoff series at the very least. Could be more than that, but we'll find out. We'll find out throughout the course of the season. But I know they're way more fun to watch with Ja Morant. I hope he plays every game the rest of the year after this Wednesday game that he's going to miss. Because, man, that dude can absolutely process the hell out of the game, like Mr. Ray says. He breaks this all down in milliseconds. That's absolutely right. Excellent control of pace. Jonathan is right. Decel, shiftiness. To me, it's like the combination of the athleticism and the ability to think the game. It's crazy, crazy, crazy how quickly he thinks through all of this all at once. Just a really sharp basketball player. Let's go to the Celtics now. I mean, the Celtics last night just demolished the Clippers. The Clippers are a team with a top 5 defense, and they dropped like 75 in the first half. It was insane. And that 75 corresponded to Kristaps Porzingis being back in the lineup, which to me is just like a terrifying addition for what is already the best offense in the league. A completely, totally absurd basketball game when he is on the court because he just causes you so many matchup problems. The Clippers tried everything, as we'll get into with the tape here. They tried literally everything. There was not a single thing they could do to stop Boston in the first half of this game. So let's talk about it. Second possession here. First possession was also a pick and pop. Be nice if my pen would work. Just a little pick and pop here. Nothing crazy. Nothing on the back end of it. This is super simple. Jason Tatum's just engaging both of these defenders here. And what ends up happening is just gets this pick and pop to Porzingis. Porzingis decides to shoot it. This one goes in. The release point, being 7'3" and being able to just shoot over the top of closeouts from Derrick Jones Jr., A, is a huge benefit. B, let's say Derrick Jones Jr. closes out tighter than what he does here even. What's your worst case scenario now? Okay, we'll just get the ball back to Jason Tatum, who has Zubats in a switch now. This is part of what makes Boston such an impossible problem to solve for teams. Okay, let's play drop. You play drop, you're going to get pick and pop to death from one of the best 7-foot shooters in league history. Okay, let's switch. Well, now you've got Tatum on a big. That doesn't really work. Let's hard hedge and recover. Okay, we'll hit Porzingis here in the middle of the court, or here as he pops out and ends up a little bit away from the play, maybe over here. And now we're rotating around against the best 3-point shooting team in league history, basically. Good luck, guys. We can talk about Al Horford being like a useful player. He has nowhere near the pick and pop gravity that Porzingis does. He can make spot up catch and shoot threes from the corners and from the wings, but the pick and pop game just completely changes this offense across the board. So here, literally next possession, I believe. Screen. How many 7'3" guys can like basically come off of an action like this where he's screening? White just decides to run through to occupy Zubats here, and then he's able to kind of flare out here. Pump fakes. Really good play there by Amir Coffey. Does a great job getting the hands in. But again, we're just like running like movement actions for a 7'3" big. Bring Zubats all the way into the paint here. Drew Holiday or Jaylen Brown. This is, but we're forcing all sorts of help here. We've got two guys here on Jaylen this deep into the paint. Porzingis is wide open. Okay, let's say Harden closes out. Drew Holiday is wide open. Okay, let's say Coffey gets up there. Reversal this way to Derek White, and then you're forcing this crazy long recovery and communication for potential breakdowns across the board. Or you can just give it to the 7'3" guy who's a 40% 3-point shooter. Like, I know this one didn't go in, but I actually don't know how you stop this team on offense with him. So I grabbed this one, even though, hey, it doesn't really involve Porzingis, but do you know what this play is doing? Watch Ivica Zubats here. He never gets within 14 feet of the rim. They decide to put two on the ball. And there's no rim protector. Against teams that can't shoot at the big position, Zubats is here. Zubats is there. He's ready. But because Porzingis can shoot, it opens the entire play to where Derek White gets two chances at a layup, basically, makes the second one. Now we're just running like stack ball screens into all sorts of crazy rotation. I mean, guys, this ball didn't even go in, but so again, the Celtics love to run this one where it sets up like a stack ball screen. Like Hauser's going to be here for this role. If Porzingis decides to come downhill, but instead Hauser's always going to exit. Not always, but he'll exit early a good amount of the time. And just confuse the defender. And he'll force, this play forces Zubats back with the way that the Celtics are, or with the way the Clippers, are defending this. So now you've got basically 3 on the ball here. You've got a wide open 40% 3-point shooter. So close out from Derek Jones, who was on Jason Tatum. Attack the closeout, hit the kick out. That forces either Zubac to help out. He's never going to get there on the closeout. Or Harden to help out. If Harden helps out, reversal down to the corner. It's just easy basketball. It's very easy basketball. They're at 50 points with 6.5 minutes left in the second quarter already. Again, not a super complicated play. They start out with like a little exchange, like rub action here. Hauser coming this way. White acts like he's going to roll to the rim. With Hauser rolling to the rim. Miscommunication here between Batum and Zubac. You've got 2 on Hauser now. Still have 2 on Hauser here. What's happening? What's going on? What do we got wrong here? We got something wrong, clearly. Help has to come over. Now we've got Derek White wide open. 45% 3-point shooter on open threes. There's no margin for error. This offense for Boston, I think, provides the least margin for error of any team I've ever watched on offense. If you are slightly off in your communication, if 2 guys go to one player for even a second, you are dead. They are going to get an open shot. So screen. They decide to peel switch this. So screen here. Zubac decides to stay out on Derek White. So what does that do? That pulls Zubac away from the rim. And the reason that he's pulled away from the rim is because they have to switch this action because Porzingis is such a shooter. That means you now have no rim protection because James Harden is your low man here. And now you've got Harden getting back cut by Jrue Holiday, and that sets up an open 3. Not really a super open 3, but it sets up a catch and shoot 3, at least for Jaylen Brown, who drills this shot, right? Again, it's all because the big is pulled away from the rim. Here, this was weird. There was like a pull away from the camera. I don't know if Zubac like somehow got caught in a switch here or what, but Zubac is guarding Tatum. I was assuming it was a switch, but like we're just putting Zubac in hell. Part of the reason this happened as well is that you'll see on the next possession that they switched Zubac away from Porzingis and actually onto somebody different, like put Harden onto Porzingis and then have Zubac guard the 4. Like they had no idea how to defend this team. So here, this is after, I believe, a make. You've got Harden here guarding Porzingis. You've got Zubac on Jrue Holiday is what it was. I love the communication here from Zubac, or from Porzingis. He tells Pritchard, go over that way, where the whole plan here, in my opinion, is to make Harden the low man. He goes over that way. You've now got a screen coming. They've given the ball to Drew Holiday, who has, again, Zubac's guarding as the ball handler here. Essentially in a switch action, but it's not actually a switch. Because Holiday is being guarded by Zubac, you have Amir Coffey coming way in to help. I don't really even blame him here, to be honest. That creates an easy same side kick out for a wide open three. Meanwhile, James Harden is ball watching, which allows Porzingis just to sneak in here and box out. I mean, this is just like very unacceptable from Harden, but it's a 7'3" dude against a guy that's 6'4", right? Okay, we're just going to go up and get the rebound. Go get an easy one. Okay, so can't do that. Can't cross match against this team. We're going to try again with Harden. But look, we're just running everything through Drew Holiday now. And Drew Holiday's like their third or fourth best offensive player. He's still a multi-time gold medalist, going to be a Hall of Famer, Olympian. Like, good luck dealing with this. Wide open three. Walk in three. For a guy that's going to be a Hall of Famer. He misses this one. Doesn't miss the next one. Early action involving Zubac. Kick out to Holiday. This time we've got Kevin Porter on Kristaps. We're trying to throw the kitchen sink against this Boston team. We clearly don't know what to do. Okay, we're just going to get to a step back. That's way too much space. Way too much space to give a 40% three-point shooter like Drew Holiday. Drills it. It's too easy. Okay. Kind of like a ram ball screen, a high ram. Into Tatum. And now we're just having Porzingis like run off of real actions into shots. So it's actually just kind of a down screen here from Holiday for Tatum to come out and go get this ball. Now we're going to have White go through the play. Seems like it's going to be a back cut. Oh shit. No way. We're not doing that. We're actually just going to set two back screens, two down screens for our 7'3" center when Zubac is like helping into the lane here. Hey guys. Good luck dealing with Boston. Good luck. This was a top 5 defense in the league coming into last night. And they just got absolutely cooked. Just got absolutely cooked. The Clippers have been incredibly fun to watch this year. They had no shot. I don't think many teams are going to have much of a chance against them the way that they're playing right now. Boston Celtics are terrific. They're a terrific basketball team. They're the clear favorite to win the title again. Okay, let's go to OG Anunoby. It's time for the New York Knicks. OG Anunoby dropped 40 last night. I want to talk about how he got there. Because it's really fun. He created some shots. He had shots that came to him. I want to call out Denver. I mean, Denver was atrocious defensively in this game. Jamal Murray was really bad on defense. I mean, Jokic was not hyper engaged, I didn't think, defensively. Karl Anthony Towns does a really good job on Jokic for whatever reason. He like outplayed Jokic last night. But the guy I do want to talk about is Anunoby. I thought Anunoby was a monster. This Knicks offense, by the way, I mean, they're becoming a serious problem for the rest of the league. They're currently second in offensive rating at 123.2. Just a ridiculous, ridiculous game. They were fantastic. They're so, so good. Let's dive in and talk through the tape from OG's 40 ball. By the way, I do want to call out here OG last night. Look, he scored 12 extremely easy points in transition on easy runouts or pick sixes. It was tough. It was not the best defense from the Denver Nuggets last night. He had those 12 points in transition, I think, by the 6-minute mark of the third quarter. But hey, you take the easy ones when you get them, right? So the Nuggets put 2 on the ball here early. Then they're going to have Jokic recover. Look at Christian Brown. He helps up. You've got Porter helping out. Now you've got Porter recovering out. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. They've recovered pretty well here defensively. Pump fake. And look, the first thing that's important here is this is just an ocean of space here, right? This is so much space for Anunoby to go create a shot. He's really improved as a shot creator over the course of his years. And he's super physical. Just like, look at this little move here. He's got the arm on the hip already. Sends Porter flying. Easy bucket. Easy way to get the first one, right? It's absolutely right. Weight room. OG is one of the sneaky strongest players in the NBA. So what do we got here? Quick little dribble handoff. Into a little down screen for Towns to come up. He's going to set a little flare screen here. For OG. And then Mikhail's going to shoot this out. This requires a lot of communication between Jokic and Brown here. And Jokic is just like, nope, no chance. Not getting there. Absolutely no chance. End up giving up a wide open 3. This is fun though. So like the reason I like this set a lot is because Towns has been so good. You're utilizing Towns' gravity here, involving him in basically an off-ball screen action to get Anunoby loose, knowing that Jokic and Brown probably are going to stay attached to Towns at the end of the day. It seems like, the easier way to do this would be, okay, Anunoby's just going to come out. He's going to go that way. Towns is going to come up for the DHO, right? Or he's going to come up for the empty side ball screen. Or if Jalen Brunson filters through, it's just going to be a regular side ball screen, right? But instead, he filters up for this. That's a sick pass. That is a sick, sick set. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's a great way to use Towns. The difference that I've noticed a lot this season between the really, really well-coached teams on offense and the questionable teams on offense is that they know how to use their personnel in dangerous ways. And that's an obvious one, right? Like, I'm not breaking news there, but this one particularly, I think, is an example of that. Here, Anunoby, now we're coming up. We're just getting into just like a little zoom set, like a middle Chicago-y kind of action. Going to set a ghost screen, filter through. And then we're just going to totally lose them. Watson eventually gets back out, but it just feels like they had no idea where he was at a certain point. So What is this action? OG enters the ball here, screens away, and what is essentially a horn set. It's like kind of a wide horns for, I believe that's Brunson. Then we're going to get into a middle Chicago, doing it that way. Try and get downhill. Jokic does a really good job here. Available, active. You've got Murray who comes out and helps. We rotate that way. Jokic recovers back. Strother does a good job sinking onto Sims here, then recovering out here to Campaign. They go the opposite way. We're back in position defensively. Little ghost screen. Westbrook stays attached to Brunson here. But what has happened here on this ghost screen? Watson staying here because of his gravity, and Anunoby's just going to come out here. And we have lost him. Jamal knows where he is, but now Jamal thinks it's like a 1-on-2 where he has to stay attached here between Bridges and Anunoby. Quick pass out. It's a long closeout for Peyton Watson, right? And look, this is a great shot from Anunoby. But again, I love the way they're moving without the ball. I love the way that they're engaging teams constantly with their motion, with their movement. It's just really hard to guard. It's really, really hard to guard. All of their players are so talented, so gifted offensively. Even Mikal, Denver last night went through stretches, especially in the second half, when they did not really guard Mikal Bridges. So ball screen. Brunson goes early. It's a good screen, which means really you probably have to peel this at the end of the day. Jokic does a good job forcing him all the way to the baseline. But Murray comes off and helps. Which means Westbrook has to kind of get down into this area. This isn't really a screw up by Westbrook. Murray is in here, which means Westbrook, if this ball goes here from Jokic, or from Jalen, I'm sorry, Westbrook might have to X out here, and Jamal might have to get all the way up there. Really, I think Jamal is a little bit too far in on that play. It made Westbrook look bad in this case. Jamal is here tagging because he thinks this is going to be a pretty active and aggressive role. And I think he just doesn't get back quick enough more than anything. He, a couple people have said here in the comments, like Jamal made a bad decision. I don't even know if it's decision making. I think he was just slow to get back more than anything. And Westbrook sunk down thinking he might have to close out onto the shooter. It's beautiful. So here, quick ball screen. Just not enough pressure there from the defenders, right? This is Trey Alexander. He's got his arm down here. Westbrook's trying to get back into the play. I mean, this is just way too big of a pocket for Jalen to roll into and to be able to throw this pass into. Way too big of a pocket. Any guard in the NBA is going to be able to make this pass. Really, this is poor communication between two guys that probably haven't played a lot together, and Trey Alexander and Russell Westbrook. But also, Westbrook is kind of in no man's land here. He just kind of stops after he gets screened. Easy bucket, through the contact, finish. Peyton Watson on Jalen Brunson. I mean, on some level now, we're just feeling it, right? This one here, though, it's a beautiful kick out, right? It's just beautiful 4-out, 5-out offense, right? Anunoby relocates up here to the wing just in order to create an easier pass in case Brunson needs it. Christian Brown's a really good defender. Does a great job. He's physical, cuts him off. I don't totally know what Peyton Watson's doing there, in all honesty. I don't know why Peyton Watson is all the way here. I don't love that Michael Porter Jr. is still here after Brown has clearly cut off Anunoby. Just collapses the defense, realizes that they've made a mistake, hits the kick out. Easy play. Now Anunoby here just gets the early position on Murray. Now we're just backing him in, finishing. Again, though, like, look at the way they space. Way behind the three-point line, way behind the three-point line, into the corner. I would personally like to see Jokic help over a little bit more when he has Jericho Sims on the court. If this is Towns, obviously you can't, but with it being Sims, I do think that you can help over a little bit more. But look, OG can hit those passes. I would try and make OG a passer, but I get it. This one, easy kick out, right? Again, I think Christian Brown and Michael Porter Jr. Porter has turned into a solid defender. Brown has always been a pretty good defender. This one, Brown just kind of gets caught here a little bit. Jalen just relocates after he sees the drive. And Brown's just ball watching just slightly. But he's still out here. He's still up on him. That's a tight closeout right in his face. Jalen drills it. What can you do? This one, we've got Jokic on Anunoby. And Jokic just kind of falls asleep. Again, though, what I want to call out here is just the 5-out spacing again. You're getting this early screen here. This could be a zone. This could be like matchup zoney. Let me take a look here real quick. I am guessing that this is matchup zone here. Kind of a 2-3, but like Jamal's a little bit high here. But again, what I want to call out here is when you have guys like Jericho Sims that are going to be setting screens, that are going to be running dribble handoffs, it is essentially 5 out unless you're just not going to guard the screener. Some teams don't. Because Denver has to play at the level for the most part with Jokic, he's not a great drop defender. You can call this 5 out with Sims. So the ball goes back out. Now you've got Sims. Jokic is trying to call out to Porter that Sims is coming back up. I don't know if he thinks it's going to be a back screen or what, but he ends up just kind of falling asleep. And it ends up being a bucket through the contact, easy finish. Just really good off-ball movement, really sharp, nothing too crazy. Now OG's just really feeling it, right? Again, you can kind of see that they're in like a zony kind of look here. I would guess this is zone at the end of the day with Jokic kind of in the middle. Maybe they're just sagging way off of Jericho Sims at this point, but it looks zony more than anything. You've got the 2 up top, 3 on the back line. Easy kick out. Julian Strawther can't cover ground that quick, guys. It's too easy. Now we're back in man. Jokic is shadowing Towns. That's how you know. Bridges misses the shot. Tip out. Relocation for Anunoby. Just look at how smart this is, right? So shot. Tip out from Towns. Immediately, Anunoby runs to the corner without even thinking twice. This is just really smart basketball. He's kind of like an excellent basketball vulture on this team. Like he just finds the open shots, finds the open opportunities. He cuts. He gets the open threes by relocating off of offensive rebounds. Yes, he can go create his own shot. He's an elevated vulture. Let's go with. But on this team, his goal is basically, hey, I've just got to be the third option, the fourth option, depending on what Mikal Bridges shows up. I've just got to go get buckets as an off-ball scorer. So here, empty side ball screen. Being guarded by Hunter Tyson. Denver, for some ungodly reason, decides to soft switch this and end up with Hunter Tyson on Jalen Brunson. Now we've got Hunter Tyson and Jokic into a ball screen action. I mean, good luck, guys. I wish you all the best in your endeavors. It almost looks like a matchup zone with how like Westbrook kind of sinks way off of Anunoby. I do think that Westbrook and Strawther here are communicating who's going to be the low man. I think that this point backward from Westbrook here is Westbrook actually saying that, hey, Julian, you be the low man. I will take this 1-on-2 here. So Strawther has to be here on the roll. This is a great rotation from Strawther for him to get all the way across like that. Like really, really good. Westbrook here is in a tough spot. He's guarding 1-on-2 because Jokic is still kind of being available for Towns against the mismatch. The confusion comes because you have the two bodies coming through here in Bridges and Anunoby. So Bridges comes through and Anunoby come through on cuts sort of simultaneously. It ends up looking like a clutter. But it seems like what they want to do here is let Jokic go with Bridges and have Murray deal with Anunoby. And Murray, it just seems like, has no idea that that's the opportunity there. And you can see Murray kind of looks up like, wait, where am I going? I think that he thinks, my read on this is that Murray thinks Anunoby is still out here. He hasn't seen that Anunoby has cut. And he's thinking, okay, we're just going to peel this. Bridges is going to go with Jokic, and I'm going to come back out here to Anunoby. And Anunoby's already in the middle of the paint when Murray's going this way. It was an atrocious defensive game from Jamal Murray. Like truly just egregiously bad. There's not another way to put it. I mean, I think he looks at the refs here and says he wants a travel. Double dribble. I don't know. That's, to me, that's bad defense from Jamal Murray. So here, I love the double screen option where we could potentially go this way, or we could go this way. We can get empty side with Mikal Bridges with Towns already out high. We could get middle ball screen. With Bridges already here, which means that there's nobody really in the corner, or nobody here as the low man, which means Strother has to really rotate across. Again, that looks like Strother has significantly helped off of his man here, one pass away. But because of the way that this action sets up from a spacing perspective, he does have to be the low man here. I don't really think that this is his fault necessarily. He has to be available here. What I would like to see is them to kind of rotate around a little bit and communicate through this. I would like to see them communicate through by, okay, let's peel it. Russ goes to Mikal. Murray ends up down on Towns, and let's have Jokic deal with Brunson. It's not ideal. It's a bad matchup situation, but it's workable, at least. We have guys guarding everybody at that point. But instead, Murray stays here, and now you've got three guys basically on the ball, and you've left Strother in no man's land. It's tough. It's really tough. Sick little horns action into, a double screen out top. And again, just OG vulturing. I love the set. Screen here for Brunson to come out high. Towns then turns. Hart then turns into a double ball screen here. It's not really a double drag necessarily. I like the Tyson denies. They put two on the ball here. Westbrook sprints out to be available for the pop onto Towns. And because he does that, I think that's Trey Alexander is responsible for 1-on-2 right at the freaking basket. The Knicks run good stuff, guys. And this is just like really good spacing, really good offense, simple sets involving your best players, and Anunoby making the smart play after Russ makes the chaos rotation up here. Scramble rotation, whatever you want to call it. Just a sharp read from Anunoby. I think that actually got him to his 40 at that point. Just really good play. Really good across the board. Excellent stuff from the New York Knicks last night. And hey, the Knicks, they're sitting here at 10-7. They're fourth in the Eastern Conference. Second best offense in the league. I still have a significant number of questions about the defense, but man, their offense is an absolute murderer's row of weapons, it feels like. They're a fantastic, fantastic team to watch play basketball. They play entertaining games. I'll at least give them that. Definitely a lot of entertaining games. So I've seen in the YouTube comments here that people are saying Dylan Harper went bananas tonight. Indeed, looking at his box score, Dylan Harper, 36 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 turnover, 12 for 22 from the field, 14 free throw attempts. Okay, so I know what I'm watching tomorrow morning. This will be exciting. Ace Bailey goes for 10 points on 12 shots. Look, There is no doubt that Dylan Harper is a better basketball player than Ace Bailey. I wrote that in the preseason. I've written it in a lot of places that I have a lot of questions about Ace Bailey as an overall, like, intelligent basketball player right now. So I'm pulling up the thing I wrote in the preseason. About these guys at Rutgers from all of the intel I got from NBA teams. Here's what scouts said that went there. Bailey has every chance to be the number 1 overall pick if all of his tools come together. But there's some work to do, and there might be some games where the shot isn't falling and things look rough. Typically, after attending practices, the feedback from NBA scouts was that Harper is a bit ahead of Bailey right now in terms of impacting winning college basketball consistently. The reason for that is Harper's tremendous feel for the game. He might not have the natural athletic tools that Bailey does, but Harper is a dynamic ball screen operator who can get into his own pull-up game and pass the ball and create his own shot. He's also consistently brought it on defense for Rutgers at the point of attack and as an on-ball defender. I think I would be surprised if Harper went number 1 for reasons we'll get into momentarily, but you can't rule it out. That's basically what's happening. Look, you're not drafting Ace Bailey based on who he is right now. And there's every chance that I end up with Dylan Harper ahead of Ace Bailey. I really like Dylan Harper. And I am probably lower on Ace than what other people are. But nobody that drafts Ace Bailey is doing so assuming that this is going to be a thing early. Everyone's doing so knowing that this is a project, and what you're hoping for is one of these big 6'9", 6'10" wing creators who can really create his own shot, who can also hopefully defend, who can do a lot of different stuff. But you're not doing so to win games next year. You're doing so because you think that Ace Bailey is the better long-term play. Certainly Dylan is the better short-term play right now. But hey, Rutgers gets a win against a feisty, by the way, Notre Dame team. Braden Shrewsbury this year has been pretty sneaky fun, actually, playing for his dad. But yeah, I'm excited to watch this one. I'm really, really excited to watch this. Sounds pretty fun. But hey, I might be back to see you guys tomorrow. I might do another post-game theory knowing that I won't do anything on Thursday or Friday. We will see how the full slate of games goes tomorrow night. I'm excited to dive into it. I'm excited to talk about it with you all. But that's it for tonight, at least. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for watching. There will be clips up of this tomorrow on the YouTube channel if you missed it. But thank you all for being here. Until next time, we'll talk soon.